Hello, hello. Good afternoon. This is Kenya Rahmaan, author and founder of the Child Support Hustle. I hope you're doing fabulous today. I am doing quite well, thank you. Went to see Batman, but we were late. My son and I went to go see it, but we didn't get to see it. So we're going on Sunday. So I heard it was a really good movie. I hope to see it on Sunday and let you guys know what I think. Um, Hopefully we'll get some people in here. I see someone here right now. Thank you for joining me. Hope you are well. Let's see. I don't know where you are joining me from, but it's cold. What the weather is like there, but it is freezing cold here in Texas. The it gets warm, then it gets cold. I think it's like 40 degrees now. So it was 70. We had an 80-degree day one day, and it's just ridiculous. So, like the title says, and I wouldn't think that this needs to be explained, but apparently it was a question that was really asked, and I wanted to answer it. And so I posted a meme on Facebook, and this was last week. It's a meme that's pretty popular. I've seen it several times, so I shared it on my Facebook page. And the meme was created by somebody named at Celebrid, Celebrid. So if you don't know, if you haven't seen it, it's in my community tab on here. Excuse me. So the meme depicts a black father and his young daughters, and he's smiling at her. And in the meantime, he has these arrows stabbing him in the back. And the arrows have different problems named across each arrow. And there's problems, and he has like baby mama drama, depression, child support. And one of them says cops. So the one that says cops, seems to have triggered people on the comments, in the comments. And, there's, I agree with such and such, everyone but cops, and why cops, and, as if there's a mystery. So one person, Danny, he says, quote, "What the hell do cops have to do with the child support hustle? Nothing," and nothing is all caps, and that's the end of the quote. So I thought it was interesting to discuss it, because not only with Danny's comment, but just with everybody in the comments. Of course, I didn't go through and read all the comments. There were quite a few, and the picture had, over 1,000 likes and everything like that. But it just stuck out to me that the fact that this black father had an arrow with cops written, that was one of the arrows, and it bothered so many people. I felt that I wanted to talk about it. So that's what I'm making this video about. So since Danny asked, I will give him the answer. And it's obvious that he and so many others are fortunate enough never to have experienced what cops have to do with the child support system in general, or with what it has to do with the child support hustle specifically. There are several reasons why this young black father, and I'm guessing that the creator of this meme is a young black father, um, includes cops as one of the stabbing arrows in his back, especially when dealing with the child support hustle. We only have to examine the statistics, and I'm going to use statistics because I'm not going to use what I've seen or in my neighborhoods, or based on my experience and people I deal with, or with based on who I talk to during my advocacy and talking to black fathers. I'm going to just use statistics. This video is going to be on how the child support system affects Black fathers, even though I know that the system affects everyone nationally and internationally. It's not just affecting Black fathers, and we know that. But sometimes you have to explain shit, and I don't have a problem with explaining to certain people that don't apparently understand. So according to Eleanor Pratt from the Urban Institute, qualitative studies have shown that Black low-income non-custodial fathers face heightened barriers when interacting with the child support system despite their contributions to their families. And we know what happens when the contributions are ignored, right? Fathers receive labels such as deadbeat and deserters, abandoners, things like that, by child support caseworkers who then contact the cops who are hired to arrest these manufactured criminals. Pratt stated that studies have estimated that low-income, non-custodial fathers are disproportionately Black, and Black men are more likely to be poor. Black men are more likely to face labor market discrimination and have limited social networks to help them stay employed. And guess what, Danny? And anyone else that had a problem with cops being one of the issues that this father listed in the meme. During fiscal year 2019, 75% of child support was collected through income withholding. And if a disproportionate number of Black men are unemployed, then a disproportionate number of Black men are not paying child support. And that means they're falling deeper into debt. That's an entirely different issue. But if they don't have the money to pay because they're not working and they don't want to be a criminal, so they get money by hook or by crook, because that's going to send them into a life of crime. They're going to be in prison in and out, and it's going to be even more difficult. They're not going to be there for their children. The list goes on. I'm sure they're going to be coming in contact with even more cops. So because the child support system is a welfare recovery program, most of the custodial parents are low income, which 9 times out of 10 means that the non-custodial parents are, guess what? Low income. And the government is well aware of this fact, but still felt it was a great business plan to order them to pay child support amounts way higher than what they could afford. And make no mistake, child support is a business. Their return on investment is way higher than what they actually invest. $1 on the national average in fiscal year 2020 returned over $5. That's nationally. In some states, we get into double digits. So this business of targeting low income, disproportionately Black fathers has really been profitable for the government. So according to a publication written by Vicky Turetsky, she was the commissioner for the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, retired, I believe, and Maureen Waller. They wrote a publication for the UCLA Criminal Justice Law Review in 2020. So they wrote, the low-income parents are routinely issued standard minimum wage orders in many states. These orders are based on imputed income instead of actual income and the ability to pay. Courts often impute income when non-custodial parents are unemployed, employed part-time, or fails to come to court. Now, I want to stop right there with the fails to come to court. This information is not included in this journal, but when non-custodial parents or people don't come to court, sometimes it's not their fault. A lot of times, the process servers don't serve the documents, so they don't even know they are supposed to be in court. So then the court or the judge issues a default judgment against them, the child support starts racking up and stacking up. And the next thing you know, that person, they don't even know sometimes that they have a child, or a child has been said to be theirs, now owes $10,000, $20,000 in child support, and they don't find out until, guess what? They come in contact with cops, and they have a warrant, and now they're on their way to jail. So back to the arrears, they become so high because they are incorrectly determined when income documentation is missing. And with child support, this bill or debt can't just be swept under the rug or pushed aside. You can't file bankruptcy and it's charged off of your record. There are several enforcement measures that will be lodged against the parent when payments are missed and debt is accumulated. Most, when you're involved in this system, are familiar with the income withholdings, the levy financial account. They levy financial accounts. They intercept a state federal income tax refund. They withhold other one-time or recurring federal payments such as retirement, salary, payments to vendors, contractors, and other federal payments. They deny passports, suspend driver's license, occupational, recreational, hunting, fishing. They'll destroy your life. And then after they get finished taking all of that from you, Danny, and anyone else that wonders what the cops have to do with the child support hustle, and you can't make payments and you can't work and you can't, if you're a barber or a stylist, you can't do that, or you're a doctor or anything like that, they will issue a warrant for your arrest. And the cops will come looking for your ass. And when they find your ass, they'll handcuff your ass and put your ass in a jail cell. That's right. And if you don't have money, your ass is going to sit in that jail cell while those police, those cops watch your ass until you can buy your freedom. Yep, that's what cops have to do with the child support hustle, Danny. And guess who owes the most child support debt, Danny? Based on this riveting study conducted by the Institute for Research of Poverty at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, the majority of child support debt is owed by low-income fathers. Remember I told you who those low-income fathers are? And many of whom are Black. So now we know why this Black father made this meme, and one of those arrows had cops on it. So during a 34-month period, the researchers collected information concerning child support debtors charged with contempt of court and facing incarceration. They observed the hearings and interviewed the professionals who handled the hearings. No parents were interviewed. They visited multiple sites. And of course, all of the information that I'm discussing is going to be in the descriptions. The description, if you like the information, please give me a like. Subscribe if you have not subscribed already. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. I don't know if you are able, I know if you can chat, I think it's 5 minutes and you have to subscribe. But if you're here and you're subscribed, give me a shout out. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks. I see some of you guys are here, so hello. Back to what I was saying. I got all into this because I was really kind of perplexed. Why would this be an issue? Why does this trigger so many people? I know I always talk about the police, debtor prisons. Police they're such a big part of the child support system. Hi, is that Shadi? Hi, thank you for joining me. So It's like, it's okay to say certain things. Hi, Johnny, when it fits your narrative. But if a certain parent says, or a certain thing is said in this family court reform fight or something like that, if something is said that doesn't fit your narrative, then, it's all out, oh, wait a minute, why do you have to say that? Well, it's all inclusive. Just because it didn't affect you doesn't mean it doesn't affect somebody else. And if you aren't affected by that one thing, then good for you. That's great for you. And it just pisses me off because, it just pisses me off. So, well, thanks guys for saying what's up in the chat. I appreciate it. So, these researchers did a study, and the study was on like the justice gap. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I put it in the description. So they went to these family courts and just observed, and they found that 80% of the fathers in court for non-payment of child support were men of color, predominantly Black men. Many fathers spoke of long periods of unemployment and underemployment. Some spoke of barriers to obtaining a job, such as the criminal record or liens. The unemployment rate for Black men in this city where they did the study, exceeded 50% during their observation period, which was higher than most other cities in the United States. And that's, historically, Black men have a higher unemployment rate than any other demographic. And that's ever. So if you look at that and say, and consider that most child support is collected through income withholding, then, that's just, and if you don't pay your child support, eventually, especially before Turner versus Rogers, the police are going to be involved. I'll go even further to say, to go and get a job. Okay, so a lot of people will say, okay, you can't get a job maybe on Wall Street, but you can go get a job at a fast food restaurant, Walmart, or something like that. Okay, so you go, the father goes and gets a job. He might have a criminal history or something like that. So he's making minimum wage. So he's garnished. Well, if they take the full amount, which is 55, 60%, and that leaves him with what? A little, basic, maybe enough to live on, maybe not. So then you have to look at, how does he pay his rent? How does he buy his food? How does he buy his clothes? How does he provide his transportation back and forth to the job? The basic necessities that a human being needs to live. How does he do that? Pay the child support and cover the debt that has already accumulated, which in these cases are 20 to 30,000, because this debt goes back. They charge child support arrears retroactively. Right. They took your whole check. Right. So then what happens? And so many people will say, so what? Your child still has to eat. But I'm gonna tell you what the so what is, or what we have to consider. If a custodial parent and that child are hungry, need a place to stay, or need any type of benefits, there are social safety net programs that will help. We have food stamps, we have Section 8, we have TANF. There are programs that are going to help make sure that child eats. Whereas if this non-custodial parent doesn't have that, or he's working and he's up there making minimum wage because that's all he can get, because these cops are arresting him and he's in jail. So now he has a criminal record, because we're not talking about misdemeanors. We're talking about felonies. So now he has a felony. So he's very limited in his jobs that he can get. And black men, as I said, are already at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to employment opportunities. So there you go. They're going to come in contact with cops more than other demographics. Right. You have to eat too. And people are so cold-blooded, they'll be like, well, starve, be homeless, just pay your child support. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. And I don't care if that's how you feel, that's not how that works. And by the guidelines, the government's supposed to leave that paying parent money to provide for their basic living expenses. But that's not what they do. They take everything, because nobody holds these agencies accountable for what they do to these parents. And that is not even a worry here, because the majority of black men aren't being hired anyway. And then they are being arrested. And it's troubling to me as a former advocate fighting for child support reform when I see people that are supposed to fight for or support fathers' rights, support them until they don't support them. And what I mean by that is, let's take shared parenting. They'll say they support shared parenting, but then when you talk about child support, and say, oh, but I support my children, as if you fight for child support reform, it's that you don't support shared parenting. You don't want to pay your child support, but you don't want to see your children. Or, oh, I support shared parenting, I don't have a problem paying for my children, but people that don't want to pay child support, they don't want to see their kids, or something like that. Like something's bad about not supporting the child support system. And I've seen that a lot. It's not that people don't want to support their children. I have never in my advocacy, or anybody that I've ever worked with, said that we don't believe in supporting our children. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And I've never heard anybody say that. It's the system. What grown adults that provide, take care, put a roof over your children's heads, buy clothes, like we adults, we are parents, need the government to come in and tell anybody how much a month they need to pay to take care of their children. Just because I had to get some food stamps one time. And thank you. And they make money off of us. But a lot of people didn't know that. When I first started and I said child support was a welfare recovery program, man, people about lost their mind. Oh, no, that's not welfare. Yes, it is. Title 4D, yes, it is. They were so offended. Yes, it is. They incorporated non-welfare cases into the child support system. That was incorporated so they wouldn't be violating the equal protections of the law, of the whatever, not whatever, so that non-welfare cases would not be considered, what do you say, weren't being serviced. But child support was a welfare recovery program. So they'll say that I support shared parenting, but I'll pay my child support as if, but little stuff like that. Another example is, somebody say, oh, I have a problem with my baby mama. I have a problem paying child support, the depression part, but what do the cops have to do with anything? Well, when you have all that shit going on and you can't pay your child support and the cops are constantly pulling you over because you're being profiled, because you're a black man and you live in an undesirable neighborhood, because you don't have shit, because child support took all your money, you owe all these back arrears, so you have to live where you can. um, the cops might be an issue for you. That might be an issue for you. Because it's not an issue for you per se, doesn't mean that's not an issue for somebody else. So even if you don't support everything that you might see, or it doesn't affect you personally, doesn't mean that it doesn't affect somebody else. Everything that is out here in the world or whatever isn't about you. If it's not, if you don't have those arrows pointing in your back, or one of those arrows doesn't affect you, then good. But you don't have to demean or disparage somebody else's feelings or question it because that's what somebody else's feelings. Make yourself feel happy that that's one less thing that you have to worry about. Okay, Danny? Cops contract with the counties and receive government funding to hunt and arrest non-custodial parents when they are accused of owing child support debt. When those parents have warrants, their names are placed on a list, and sometimes they make it to jail and they live to be harassed by the child support system another day. Some are not so fortunate. I want to say rest in peace to Walter Scott and Robert Sycon. Others make it to jail and don't make it out alive. Rest in peace, Leslie Starnes, Michael Osborne, Thomas Duhaney, and Felix Mannis. And to all the others who are victims to this horrible system. To that, I tell you guys, I want to say good evening, good night to you guys. Not going to read the comments. If y'all want to reach out to me, I'm at cshustle1 at gmail.com. I just want to hop on real quick, do this video. It's just been on my mind. I get real pissed off when people, because I know this was all about on some racist shit. And, this is one issue: family court, child support reform, ending parental alienation. And because you get one, something that has to do with something totally else, you feel like, all these comments and stuff. If that black man feels like that and you see what's going on and you know what's going on, keep your comment to yourself. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook and you feel some type of way, I don't care. Just keep it off of my shit. All right. Thanks for subscribing, guys. Appreciate y'all.